Overflow versus Quest, the game we're about to get into, I think, Overflow has been dominant through every tournament. Through Hafu, Ant was in collegiate, and along with his other teammate Elo. And it's like they won collegiate, they win everything, but they might be a bit washed. But I don't think they're washed enough to make them lose. I think Core is gonna beat Quest 2-1. GE is gonna beat Blackwater Kraken 2-0. Oh my God, they beat them 2-0. Look at that prediction already won for Core. And then Comeback Kings is gonna beat Silent Mirages 2-0. That is what's gonna happen at the top group stage, guaranteed. Gravity prediction, the narrative's gonna change. Everyone's like, man, how is Gravity so wrong all the time? Not today. I'm confident in these picks. Like, if I could gamble on these, I would.
let's not do that. Instead, what we can do is probably pay more attention to the game they're about to see, of course, right? We were mentioning how Core Overflow versus Quest Esports. Quest have won a lot of tournaments. Quest have been very good throughout the entire time. And when Core wants to try to put an end to that naturally. So see what that happens. Y'all hear the draft music going. So that means that we're about to step into game number 1 of our third BO3 of the day. So let's get it popping here, homies. Let's see what's up. Quest, we're looking at the X, the Kai, the Estelle. So a lot of what we're used to. Of course, Yeesh will be, of course, in goal as, ooh, wait, they locked that in. That's a Luna on Yeesh, and we'll see what they're facing with up against.
Yeesh has been practicing that Luna, and he's good. And they're whipping out the meta comp, the comp that has been hailed as the absolute destroyer of worlds, X Luna Estelle. There's just so much damage, and for a champ that is known for its low HP Asher, I don't know how she's gonna live. I mean, she's just going to disappear in an instant. You're gonna look at her and just gone. And we're on split though, which this meta comp is kind of rough on at times. It makes you wonder which team's gonna win, because nope, the comp is way more popular on the side of Quest Esports. But it is on split, so this will be an interesting watch to watch. And there's the Asher disappearing
within seconds. But hey, you know what? She does have well fed, right? So if this game does go to late game, might be possible. But Streak actually isn't able to get there in time. No rush either, and Overflow also can't zoom back there. So it's just a goal.
It's a nice goal by Leo, arguably the best X in the world. Honestly, I don't even know if it's arguably. I mean, this guy is a demon. The only person I might think is on his level is Cuberto.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah, we saw him earlier.
But Yeesh, unfortunately, I also did not necessarily anticipate the trajectory of the core, because they'd already used the boost. So with them also making their way back, both cooldowns down, not able to use the ult. So that's a tough situation to be in.
And again, I wonder what build this Asher's going, because there's been a new build kind of trending called Bulldozer Asher, where you take all of these defensive trainings, so that way you actually have a chance at living. You take Stagger Swagger, well fed, unstoppable, and then even into all this damage, you don't die. But Int gonna be a true star of the show, like he always is. I don't know, the light always shines on Int. Absolute demon, and out of individual player, I believe Int has been farming the prize pools.
And
Bro
once again,
lose.
You saw Yeesh had actually used the whammy right before this, so no long range ability to be able to help save the goal, and allowing that to go and unfortunate. But like you were saying, Asher, even though has been KO'd multiple times already in this game, still doing okay. Where it's been picking up a lot of that slack, like super far forward at the midfield that we're expecting in terms of the Estelle. And now some pressure on the other side of the nets. There we are, 2-2, baby.
Leo was just allowed to sit there in the net. No peel pressure came out from Int. Asher doesn't really have the ability to kind of peel Streak, and Leo sat there just pressing his strike button over and over again, giving Streak the beating. And that one allowed for an easy goal. But this time they're like, let's not let that happen again. And Leo is being He's being tickled a bit.
just a little bit, and I wonder how tickless Leo is. But Streak instead using Giga Blast to get his own KO. Leon has to move back, survive it against it, but because of that too, you saw that X actually used the Maximus, and so because of how big he got too, enough of a strike that he's able to defend it for that long. But now it's Elo and Hamster playing side by side. Set it up from Yeesh. And oh, actually makes the hit. Elo has to toss it back instead. So now they get core control once again, Gravity.
Yeah, Hamster dominant on the Estelle. And he's always had such a scary Estelle. And it's going to continue to be scary. Finds 2 kills. That is going in.
That's what we call a 1-2 socket. That's how you get your 2-for-1 pizza, and you take that home to your mama on Sunday. Hey.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with such a statement.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, you think does that line up with just the game terminology? Yeah.
Yeah. That's roughly what the players call it.
And I believe that's called a goal, though. So I think I'm still keeping up with what's going on, nonetheless. HamsterQuest setting that up himself to get a 2-goal lead.
Only need one more 2-for-1 special if they want to take a big 1 win in this BO3. And getting that 1 win feels so great when you're playing, because you have the momentum. You need the momentum. Your mental is strong. You're like, wow, we just had such a good game. Well, let's do it again. And when you're on the opposite side, it's like, oh shit, we gotta win back-to-back games in order to get on to the next stage.
Yeah, it's like when you lose a game, you gotta win more. But when you're winning more, you don't have to win as much, yeah?
Man, the way with words today. I'm gonna need a thesaurus.
Absolutely killing it, about it. But that was, I want to point out, really good redirect from Streak as well to 90 off the corner, and now as well allowing in to bring that one in. 30 seconds left, 1-goal game.
Oh, and bringing it back the side of Core Overflow, which is the team name that they've chosen this time. It's different every tournament. I think I like this one. I think they might stick with this iteration.
Cap, no, they're not.
They're having such a strong start. Neo is just on top of Yeesh, and when you're playing Luna on top of the Asher, it's hard to say, but Yeesh makes it look easy.
Speaking of making it look easy, so has been HamsterQuest. With her land of the PSG shots, Luna goes up. Child blow up, white 1. Can't do it. Homies, we're going to OT. Here we are. Yeah. Big hits though. Nothing found just yet. Everybody pretty much back at the goal. For now, we'll see in terms of where the two managed to actually progress. As between the two of them, Yeesh and Leon continue passing. One goes out. Yeesh can't do it. Pearson's shot dash is slowed down. That was a nice play, but it's Luna goes so far forward. Bit past the Yeesh plan as per usual, and no, can't make it back on time. We're 4-4, Gravity.
Man, the goal from beyond. I mean, and sacrificing his life for the goal. Of course, when you're level 10, it doesn't really matter, and Yeesh just cannot get there in time. Luna's got such a tiny hitbox. Unable to reach.
Yeah, because like she's just so small, right? She's like a little rinky-dink person, and I find Luna goal, right? We haven't been able to talk about it a ton because I haven't actually seen it today, right? What are the main adaptations you have to make as a team, especially as your midfielders, to ensure that she's just not under a ton of pressure like that?
Oh yeah, you really need to make sure that you don't get in that exact situation we just saw. When Asher is on top of the Luna, it is lights out. The Luna is gonna have such a difficult time dealing with it. So making sure that Asher is getting dealt with, whether it's through damage or just pure core control, or by killing their whole entire team, you gotta do something to make sure that she is not on top of your Luna.
No, and that's one way to do it, right? Because that's the kind of deals you want to get at your local pizza shop. You walk in and say, hey, Poppy, let me get a chopped cheese there. Don't worry, man, I got you. Let me go put one up fresh for you. That's the kind of stuff you want to see.
you're a big fan of pizza from the seams of it.
Well, hold on. First, the
Kind of
chopped
reminds
cheese.
me.
Chopped cheese is not a pizza, my friend. What that is actually it's actually a bodega special. What you managed to get is pretty much a cheesesteak, but made the New York way.
Oh, see, I'm personally a really big fan of cheesesteak. I eat that I am gonna eat a cheesesteak after this cast. I mean, this is making me hungry. This game, the gameplay is food for my eyes, but not food for my stomach.
Ah, food for, I heard all food is actually food for your stomach in general. As no, get the KO and the goal in. And that right there is food for your mind. You learning what should not be happening. Once again, the same situation we were talking about. You cannot allow the Asher to be that far forward against the Luna.
Yeah, I mean, true eye candy, what we're seeing here. And Elo, again, he's getting in those spots that he should not be allowed to get in. And no, and fun fact about X, because X, when you ult, your strikes do damage, but when you're in your goal box, you strike faster. So if you're X and you are in your goal box, you start hitting so fast, and it's like the Asher overextends just a tiny bit, he will die from full HP, just because of how fast you get the hit.
Not gonna happen just yet. But it seems like X wants to move up, but X wants to give it to somebody. All he's gonna get is disappointment. That's another goal. 6-6 between Quest and Core.
Oh man, this game is getting more exciting by the second. I mean, they're going goal for goal. No team truly having an advantage, and it seems like HamsterQuest hasn't been in that advantage spot in a while. Or sorry, Quest Esports. Named after HamsterQuest, I can presume.
The double KO though will do exactly what they need to, and like you're saying, Quest not having that advantage, which I believe the opposite of that is a non-advantage or a lack of one might even say a disadvantage, playing 3-on-1.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to the Asher. The Asher is the real key to this game, but it ain't gonna find the corner. I guess Yeesh did not have his dash up in order to go and receive it with the dash save.
Yeah, because I believe Yeesh might have been just a couple seconds off from using it, and also not having the rocket there up either. So no whammy, no crater, no stopping power at all. Unfortunate.
What a good shot too. Oh yeah, no, it's just. Yeah, it's like the 2 seconds later, but knowing that this Luna doesn't have the cooldown, uses his dash beautifully. I mean, putting that core where you want to with your dash is not the easiest thing to do, but he has so much experience on the champ, he's able to find the bottom pocket of the net, and there's nothing that Yeesh could do about that one.
Yeesh indeed, my friend, as that's my feelings currently coming out of that one, but that's still only the first game. Mind you, out of our best of trays. That's in Spanish once again. And so we'll see what goes on between these two, because considering how close we had it previously, I'm expecting adaptations with the level of these teams so far. Core Overflow putting up such a solid start, and I would expect on side of Quest, if they want to continue to game 3, I would maybe predict the Luna switching up from goal.
I think it's map dependent. I don't like how they force that comp on the split, because I don't think it's very strong on split. But if we go to a map like Center Stage, Origins, literally any other map that's not named Split, I think the result's going to be different. Maybe not Narrows. Narrows is kind of rough for the kill comps, as mentioned earlier, and we saw earlier. But I think as long as we are in a different map, I think a run back is reasonable and understandable, especially how close that first game was, even in a disadvantaged state on such a fun map. But I'm excited for this next one. I'm excited to see, maybe they do the adaptations. Maybe Kai comes out instead of Luna, trade out some damage for a little bit of extra defensive pressure. We will have to see when game 2 starts up.
Indeed. It is, we'll have a couple of seconds before that does happen, of course. You know, who will go on as we're nearing, you know, at the end of our first block to see who goes on the playoffs. Of course, we'll have this, and of course, one more game down to the losers bracket, where this is it. So all that happens, of course, the loser of this game will have one more chance to pop down and perhaps prove themselves once again and rise towards the very top of the standings. But currently, they'll have to just substantiate with and take whatever they have. Until that happens, what I would like to do was we'll take a quick glance, actually, at our bracket in a couple of seconds, just to be able to see where the rest of the game stand, because I want to understand if Gravity has continued to prove his worth as predictions.
Oh no, Comeback Kings is losing.
Wait, Comeback Kings may be losing, but Bomba did win. So right now, you are technically 2 for 2.
That's what I'm talking about. And they won 2-0. Even the score predictions right. I'm gonna have to send a DM to the captain of Comeback Kings, Daftgrass.
Yeah, we'll see all that later. We're about to get into the next draft, the next game, for what's about to go on between these two teams. All right, let's get it. With Quest looking to change things up almost completely. Asher, Kai. Asher not yet locked in though, but still hinting towards it as Core. Looking for the X, the Kai, and I'm thinking Estelle here.
Well, I find it interesting because Asher has been considered a low-tier pick for this whole the past couple of patches. And I see a top team like Core I think it's a good pick and even optimal. And they've been using it well. Elo's making it seem why it is such a good pick. We're going to center stage this time. Asher might have a bit of a harder time living, and Yeesh has opted for his signature Kai pick. You're gonna see a lot of Yeesh not really staying in that goal box zone. He'll be a little bit outside of it, using Kai's movement speed to his advantage, maybe helping poke down Elo Heaven a bit more. Because maybe Elo Heaven dies very shortly.
I mean, you were saying that we were going to see a lot of knockouts from the Asher, and there we go. That's what we were expecting, but only 2-on-1 match, one too much. The warp into the shot as well. The Giga Blast to finish it off from a streak. Nice continuation, and now it gives them a couple of seconds of advantage, but not much more than that, though, as we're back to pretty much the same game state we started off with. But instead, Leo's just getting rolled. Wait, no, he's fine. Never mind.
Oh man, this is an intense game. I mean, I personally love to see these high octane, high KO games. What about you? Are you more of a fan of the defensive style that we saw from those earlier games of Glorious Ignition, or are you more a fan of what we're seeing here?
I mean, I do like me some high octane, but I'm much more of a defensive player myself, right? Because I play mainly goalie half the time, so I am more than okay with getting involved very often because that means I get to do things, right? So it makes me happy. As Shriek as well too, looking to get involved himself, getting pushed back, not really enough for KO, but the swing as well, the blow rush onto one more. Leo so far forward, Shriek will be knocked out. One more shot could take it, but Yeesh once again pretty far, still fine. As the nothing happens, at least for the first minute or so, but it's the kind of gameplay we're expecting out of these two teams once again.
And Elo is locking it down in mid, but not in net. As Quest Esports find the first goal of the game, also found the first goal of last game. We saw that turned out, so maybe they'll be able to hold their lead this time.
It's not possible, as that on its own was Leo playing interference, and naturally it's Overflow doing whatever they could to ensure that the core hits net. Naturally, as we'll look at HamsterQuest, who just barely survives, but doing okay.
What I'd like to note is almost at the start of every round that someone has died in these games. I mean, before Core is even touched, they are seeing a red, looking for nothing but violence, but Int's looking for the goal. He's going to find it on Yeesh. Just a straight 1v1. Int showing what's up. I like the play he made. Wow, there's an absolute brawl fest going on the left side of the screen. It is just by himself.
Yeah, Thorns with the warp. Doing enough. Oh, speaking of brawl fest though, that might just do it. Bull rush again to give a bit more space in net, but Int and Hilo playing in between themselves, not even allowing the core to even see the other side past the net. Still fine on the X gets knocked away. Man, I find for the last couple of games, we haven't seen the classic X bullying style. It's been the X that's been getting bullied, in fact.
you know, I think it's just a trade. Like, you have to eventually get bullied. You have a big hitbox. You don't really have any escape tools. It's like a trade. Like, I'm going to beat you up, and you can beat me up in exchange. But when I beat you up, I'm going to get more value. Not going to happen this time. But, I mean, again, even dying has its value. Because that's cooldowns that the other team no longer has up. So, I mean, Core Overflow just used all the cooldowns to kill Leo. And as you saw, they weren't able to capitalize on it. But this time, they did not use very many in order to kill Quest.
Unfortunately not, but oh, that was actually a really nice set of pass splitter there as well. As currently, because you saw just how far up they were, right? Elohim was able to set that goal up pretty much all by himself. As for now, 2-1 maintains Core Overflow. We're gonna get the 2-0 over Quest Esports.
Overflow making a nice comeback. The early game was looking a bit rough, and now at the level 10, they find their third goal. And that is enough. If they hold on for these next 30 seconds, they will be pushed into the bracket stage.
And we've been mentioning that the disproportionate amount of Asher that we've seen throughout, you know, just the past month even, and like Gravity, you spoke to yourself, just you were assuming that we weren't going to see much at all, but I find Asher is still as prominent as ever.
Yeah, Core Overflow's true believer, and Elo is making it work. And I do know, I have faced the wrath of Elo Asher in solo queue, and man, is it not an enjoyable sight? But I didn't think he was gonna whip out in the tournament, but I guess he was practicing for this moment, and he is showing why this champ needs even more nerfs.
Asher needs to be just maybe just some more happening, but no shot, man. Look at this. He was pretty much playing pass with somebody on the opposite team. Look, the barrage misses, and Overflow also gets the piercing. Like, also get the piercing, and right from there, they get the 5 and 1. Core Overflow 2-0 over Quest Esports. Now I know you did not predict that.
I predicted 2-1.